I did a version of Stairway to Heaven some years back as a bluegrass kind of thing, and he didn't think I should have done it.
Oh.
And he said, "Are you sure that's Stairway to Heaven or Stairwell to Hell?" But he did love my version of Stairway to Heaven because I stayed so true to it on this rock album. You have to have the acrylic nails to play your nails.
Yeah, you do.
When I wrote 9 to 5.
Oh, see, I love that. That's my favourite Dolly Parton fact. Can you do it? Can I?
Yeah. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. That's actually how I wrote the song.
Dolly Parton, what a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Dave.
What a joy to see you. Let's start with the fact you have a brand new album. It's called Rockstar. Now, there's 9 original songs on this album, but also there's your interpretation of some music that we love at my radio station, Absolute Radio. So there's Purple Rain and Heart of Glass and Stairway to Heaven and We Are the Champions and Freebird and Let It Be and so many. And I wondered, what was the process of picking those songs? And as you are such an icon, as you are Dolly Parton, do you just like call Sir Paul McCartney and say, "Paul, I'm taking Let It Be"? Do you want to get involved? How did it all work out for you?
Well, actually, we'll just start with that one. Like the Let It Be, I always loved that song. And then I recorded the song and without them. Then I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if Paul McCartney would agree to play piano and sing on it? Then I thought, wouldn't it even be greater to have Ringo Starr, because that's the last of the Beatles, play on that track? And then, of course, we had, Mick Fleetwood that did some percussion along with that. And then we had Peter Frampton that added a few things on it. I thought, man, this is an all-star song. But just the whole idea of having Paul, which I've loved through the years, and just having them be on it. And I just asked if they'd do it, and they said yeah. And I was excited to death.
I mean, you've created the ultimate supergroup there, Dolly. That's what you've done. You've had this idea that you like the song Let It Be, and then cut to what? A couple of weeks, a month later, you've done a version of it and created a supergroup. That must feel pretty good, right?
It does feel good, and I have to give a lot of that credit as far as the musicians and the others for Kent Wells, who is the producer of the album, who has been my musical director and guitar player for 30 plus years. But Paul and Ringo was definitely my first thought on that. I thought, if I could get them, that would be great. And they were so generous and so sweet about it. I was so touched with so many of the people on the album that they were so willing to do it.
I love that. I mean, obviously, you're no stranger to people covering your own work. I mean, famously, I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, and Jolene has been covered by everybody from Miley Cyrus to the White Stripes. So how does it feel, because you're such a prolific and famous songwriter, how does it feel to cover other people's work?
Well, it felt good.
It does feel good, right?
Yeah, it feels good because, see, I'm a big fan of songs. And being a songwriter, you have your very favorites that you really think, wow, I wish I'd have written that. Why didn't I write that? Why didn't I think of that? You're always thinking that as a songwriter. But the songs I chose, getting back to part of your original question, well, these are songs that I loved mostly because of my husband, Carl Dean, who is a rock and roll freak. I mean, that's about the only kind of music.
That's what they call us, Dolly. Rock and roll freaks. Yes.
I know. I mean, who would have thought it? With me being in country music, but he didn't particularly care that much for country music. He just was always into rock since he was young.
Okay.
And so all of our lives, we've been together almost 60 years, and anytime I'm around him, in the house, in the truck, in the car, in a tractor, whatever it may be, he's always playing, rock songs. And so I actually chose a lot of his favorite songs to do, Stairway of Heaven being one of them. He's a leadhead completely. And then I chose some that I loved, like Purple Rain. I've always loved that particular song. And so I thought it was one of the highlights of the album. It was for me personally. And so I just chose songs that I loved or that my husband loved mainly.
Well, your take on Purple Rain is beautiful. I want to get back into this. Really nice because obviously, your story and Carl's story is one of true love and it's endured for so many years. And I didn't know that throughout that whole time he's hated country music. I mean, so this is...
I didn't say he hated it. It was his least favorite, though. I tell you, Carl liked either hard rock, and oddly enough, he loved Flatt and Scruggs. He liked certain bluegrass songs. He liked rock.
So he loved it when you did the
Bluegrass.
bluegrass stuff, right?
But he did not like it when I did a version of Stairway to Heaven some years back as a bluegrass kind of thing, and he didn't think I should have done it.
Oh.
And he said, "Are you sure that's Stairway to Heaven or Stairwell to Hell?" And I thought, well, maybe since you put it like that. But he did love my version of Stairway to Heaven because I stayed so true to it on this rock album.
Yeah, okay. Is he comfortable coming forward and saying these things to you, Dolly? I mean, will he just say, I don't really like this. Why don't you do something more rock? He'll just be straight out with you.
He would be straight out. In fact, he's one when I said that I was going to sing Stairway to Heaven back years ago as a country bluegrass, he said, "I don't think you should do that." And I said, "Well, why?" He said, "Because it's a damn legend. You know, it's a classic, and nobody really... I wouldn't think anybody'd be brave enough to want to do that song." I said, "Well, you know me." But after he heard it, he said, "It's okay, that version, but this version he did like."
Okay. Oh, I'm really pleased to hear that. Dolly, we've spoken about obviously you performing and your songwriting talents, but to get the full Dolly Parton thang, if I may call it that, we need to talk about the look, and you do so in your brand new book, Behind the Seams: My Life in Rhinestones, which is out in October. Do you find it hard work looking this great all of the time? Is there a weight of responsibility with being a global style icon? Do you ever just slip on the velour sweatpants and just want to lay out on the sofa whilst Carl critiques your musical tastes? I mean, do we ever see that?
No, you're never going to see it, but yes, I do it.
Okay, you're never going to see it though.
No, you're never going to see it. No, I mean, everybody's got their comfort zone. I've got my old tacky, soft, clothes that you're comfortable in, stuff. Sometimes I wear stuff I've had for years. You know how everybody's got their own special pair of pants or a shirt or something. But yeah, I can look awful. But when I'm out in public, I figure if you're going to be a star, you need to look like one. And I figure, well, what if I got a mug shot, somewhere like some of my friends have, and you look like hell? I thought, well, you need to say, if you're going to be in the public, if you're going to be a star, you need to look like one.
I wondered if you ever been backstage in a new outfit at some point over the years and just gone, this is too much. I can't. There's too many rhinestones here.
No,
this is too high. This is too low. This is too left, too right. Whatever it may be.
No, I've never felt the feeling like it's too much.
Okay.
I have had times saying this is too heavy. I'm short anyway.
You mean the actual
little,
weight?
I would say, yeah. I was tall before I started wearing all those heavy ass clothes. So it's like just kind of wearing you down. But I've only thought, wow, this thing is heavy. Will I be able to lift my arms to get my instruments or whatever?
Yeah.
I have had those thoughts.
Wow.
But it's never been too much sparkle for me.
Where would you sparkle me? Dolly, looking at me right now.
You look
a humble lad
pretty
called Dave. Would you rhinestone me anywhere? Do I need rhinestoning?
Well, I probably would put some rhinestones on the lapel of your jacket.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Yeah, you'd like that.
Now, Dolly, it's time for something that I like to do from time to time on my radio show with some of my favourite guests. It's unrelated questions inspired by your song titles. And we start with The Bargain Store, 1975. Dolly, here in the UK we have B&M stores, Poundland and Savers. Does Dolly like a deal? Are you a bargain hunter?
Actually, I am. I like looking about. I love the bargain store. I love those kind of things. I love old antique stores and all that. I love to browse through that. My husband also is very big on that himself.
Okay.
So through the years in our marriage, we've done a whole lot of browsing around in a lot of old antique stores and all that.
Okay, so you like the flea markets and all that
Yeah,
kind of
we
stuff?
like the flea markets. And a lot of times it's hard for me to kind of do a lot of that now because of who I am. But we usually have our little RV, and I'll stay in the RV. If we see a yard sale or something, he wants to get out and walk around. I'll stay and read or write something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love going to those things.
Opening the little slidey window and going, over there, Carl, that one over there.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that. Or he'll bring something to the window of the camper and say, well, what do you think? Is this what you're looking for? Is this what you... Or I'll point at something, like you say, I'll say, I want to see it up close, But a lot of times we just get out, especially in a certain time of day. I don't care. It's just usually about your time.
Of
if
course.
you've got time to start doing a meet and greet and an autograph party.
Yeah.
And
You
if
can't
it's
just pop in,
early
get a
the
candelabra and get
day,
back in the oven.
It bothers him more than me.
Yeah, okay. Don't Make Me Have to Come Down There, 2023. What a great song, a really nice sentiment as well.
Thank you.
The kind of thing, obviously, a parent would say to their kids. if they were being naughty. I want to know, Dolly, were you a naughty child? Did you get up to capers?
I didn't want to be naughty. I
Okay.
never wanted to get caught doing anything bad because I don't like to be scolded and I don't like to be whipped. I'm very sensitive. But
Fair enough.
sometimes, there's certain things that I would just do because it's just my nature that I would get in trouble for. Like whether I was wearing makeup or not willing to take it off or not willing to wear a certain thing that I wanted to wear.
Yeah.
I mean, like I always say, Daddy couldn't beat it out of me. Mama couldn't pray it out of me. Nobody can make me not do something
Yeah.
that I was bound and determined to do. But I
Yeah.
never tried. I was not rebellious for the sake of being rebellious because I never wanted to be in trouble.
No, fair enough, and good advice there as well. 9 to 5, 1980. Obviously, you are a global superstar, and you've been so kind of famous since you were a teenager. But I wondered, if it hadn't worked out, is there a 9 to 5 type job that you believe you would have been destined for? Or have you, over the years, looked at what we could call a 9 to 5 job and thought, I think I'd be good at that. I'd like to give that a go. Is there anything spring to mind?
Yeah, I think if I hadn't have made it, I used to think of what I would do. I think I would have been a beautician. I got to play one in Still Magnolias, but I really would have been one because I'm very good at hair. And on all my TV specials, I'm often trying to fix the hair. I mean, I did my mom's hair all those years when we did
Lovely.
specials, and my sisters, different ones of my sisters. But I think I would have been a beautician because I would have had to been continue wearing my hair and makeup like I wanted. I'd have had to got a discount on bleach and makeup or shampoos or
Yeah.
all of that. But I could picture myself being a beautician. That's why it was so easy for me playing Truvy in the Still Magnolia movie because I just felt like I knew that world.
Yeah, and also you'd be next level because you could give somebody a manicure and then you could teach them how to play some music on their own fingernails.
You have to have the acrylic nails to play your nails.
Yeah, you do.
When I wrote 9 to 5.
Oh, see, I love that. That's my favourite Dolly Parton fact. Can you do it? Can I?
Yeah. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. I'm singing low so you can hear my fingernails. That's actually how I wrote the song, playing these acrylic nails because I thought this sounded like a typewriter. And on the set every day, I would kind of, just make that.
Your co-stars have said that you'd kind of write a little bit of that song day by day.
Mm-hmm.
You'd appear on set and play the role. You'd be like, I've just written a little bit more. I've just written a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then you did the acrylic nails thing, and
And
I
I
mean
even
that must have
played-
blown them. I mean, it's blown my mind now. It must have blown their minds at the time.
But you have to kind of have the acrylic nails to make that noise. But I actually put that on the actual recording of 9 to 5. I had all the women from 9 to 5 come down and sing on the record. And then on it says Nails by Dolly. So where they said, you have to do it because you played that all the way through.
Dolly, it's been such a privilege to spend some time in your company. The brand new album Rockstar is released worldwide in November, and book Behind the Scenes, Life in Rhinestone, is out in October. Next time in the UK, make sure I get the chance to come and see you again, Dolly, because I've loved every single minute of it. Thank you very much for your time.
You mean it's over? That went by like
we
crap. I thought-
we are done here, but I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you did too.
Well,
so
I did enjoy it. And
Speak
thank
to you
you
soon,
very much
Dolly.
for having me.